How's it going, everyone? Mike the Warhost here, and finally have the time to go over the Hunt for the Prometheus starter set for Dystopian Wars. So I got this in the mail a couple of days ago and have had a whole bunch of stuff happen between now and then, so I haven't been able to dig into this all that much, but better late than never. So let's open this up and see what we got. First thing you'll notice when you get yours is this is a big box. You can't really tell from right now, but if I do that and that, yeah, you can see how thick this thing is. This box is more close to what you would expect for a starter box for 40K, something along those lines. Lots of stuff here. And again, we have our very nice World Cradle Studios packaging. I'm very happy to get a box this size because this will make doing photos a lot easier. I'll open that up. And all kinds of plastic goodness. So as you can see here, I'm looking at one of the Commonwealth sprues here. It's practically identical to the one that I got as a preview a short time ago. As a matter of fact, it actually is identical. So we got one Commonwealth sprue, 2 Commonwealth sprues, 3 Commonwealth sprues, 4. Here we have 5 total sprues, so that'll give you 10 frigates and 5 cruisers based off of that. Now to go over to the Enlightened side, we have some of theirs. You can see you have an SRS token there, all kinds of oddly shaped stuff. These ones are going to be interesting to put together and very interesting to get painted up. There we go. 1 Enlightened sprue. Here we have another. And the last one. So 5 Commonwealth sprues and 3 Enlightened sprues. And we also have 2 sets of cardboard condition tokens. While I'm sure these will be entirely functional and will work out pretty well, honestly, I'm not a big fan of these. And you can see, again, basic cardboard. These ones I don't like just because they tend not to last very long. They don't really survive the regular wear and tear of games that well. So what I'm probably going to do is honestly just fire up Tinkercad or some other easy 3D modeling program. I might even use this as an opportunity to figure out how the hell Blender works and make easily 3D printable tokens instead. You also see you have a small amount of terrain, some just very basic stuff. I'm sure this will work out early on, just as people are getting started. I am going to be, see, very easy to pull out. You see, the print quality on these is very good. Like I said, I'm just not a big fan of the cardboard. So yeah, those are going to get replaced very quickly. Now for some more fun stuff. We got the big chunky boys. And here we have one of the big ships. I'm guessing this is going to be one of the Enlightened ships. Unfortunately, the starter set does not contain any of the unit cards. Those are going to be available on general release day. Yeah, and there's some of the little accessories for it. And just to give you guys a bit of scale, a bit of perspective, here is the cruiser I had previously done as part of the preview for the starter set. Here is the new ship. Yeah, it's a big guy. This one, like I said, this one obviously just hollow plastic. In fact, that's not primed. You can see that. But this one is just a big chunk, big solid chunk of resin. Let's look at the next one here. This is one of the bigger Russian chips. Let's see some of the little doodads and whatnot that go on this one, but yeah, again, another no big chunky boy, more solid resin. But the detail on this one is absolutely outstanding. You can see all kinds of little bits and bobs and whatnot once the camera focuses. So yeah, this one's going to be lots of fun to get painted up. And one more massive enlightened chip. And solid, just hunk of resin. So I'm guessing if you catch your opponent cheating, you can always just put this into a sock and beat him with it. Not quite, it doesn't have quite the same mass as the old school metal dreadnought from Games Workshop, but this could definitely hurt. That is that supposed to be, is that like a cybernetic fish or whale of some sort? I think so. This might be what that is. More of the little bits and bobs. These here. Yep. And of course you have two Victory and Valor decks. They're still in their packaging, so they might be a little hard to read with the reflection. But yeah, this box does come with two decks, so good for two people wanting to start up. You also have two sets of die. You have your critical effect die and your regular game die. These ones are kind of are a bit small though. I'm sure they'll work out well enough for the game. But when you compare them to a critical effect die, which is more of a normal size, what people would expect, yeah, they're tiny, they're little guys. So the box comes with two sets of both. Also comes with a miniature campaign guide to walk people through how the game works. So we're going to start off with a little bit of story background. And then we go into various missions. As you can see, they start out slow, just going over the very basic stuff. They'll list out what each side will be able to use and what mechanics are actually being focused on at that point. Pretty artwork. And we have a couple more. Again, the size of the forces for each player gets bigger, and more mechanics are being introduced throughout. It ends with the final one, which will bring in the last mechanic, the Victory and Valor deck, and that will explain how the game works overall. So the last thing in the box are the measuring tools. Here we have the turning tool, and this is done in the same plastic as the rest of the ships. Here we have the template, which will work for any War Cradle game. Supposedly this is going to be the new template used in the upcoming revamp of the Wild West Exodus 2-player starter set, as well as the starter for Lost World Exodus, when that shows up at some point before the sun goes nova. And we also have a measuring stick, which is a huge upgrade from the previous cardboard version. Nice things about this one is it's collapsible. Now, in the one in the box, it comes in two different parts. So you can swing it out easily. And if you look on the back, it even has numbers going up to, you measure this up to 15 inches for this marker here. So you could very easily pick up a couple of these and just clip them together and make it as long as you really need to. All right. Lastly, we have the rule book. So, very high quality, nicely done, all kinds of interesting stuff. Now looking at this section here, this portion of the rule book that I'm holding up is the rules. This is all of the lore background. So that is the Dystopian Wars starter set contents. I'm going to get the ships, all the different ships and whatnot, built up to show off as well. So show everyone what they look like when they're completed. And when the game actually comes out and we have the unit cards, I will show you just exactly what the contents of these can do. So once we pack, once all of these ships and whatnot I was just showing you are built up and ready to get painted.
One eternity later.
All right, and here we are with the starter set fully assembled. See, here's all of the Commonwealth. If you want to learn about any particular building quirks with these, I recommend you take a look at the Borodino Battlefleet video I posted previously with the little preview sprue. Yeah, here's a nice big ship there. As you can see, I got the turrets magnetized there. I'm working on getting them for the other cruisers as well. Now over to the Enlightened. All right, when you're assembling big Enlightened resin chips, put these parts on last and put the fins on first. That will save you a lot of time and effort and frustration. Now with these guys here, one thing I did notice is it's going to take a lot of extra work to get the frigates magnetized so you can swap the weapons out. These ones here I built out as Marion class frigates simply because that's how they were listed on the back of the starter set. All of these ships here are built as the class listed on the back, simply to save some time for me. And as far as the Enlightened cruisers, there is one tricky part to assembling these. This section here, I'll also go ahead and put up a small graphic from the instructions. You have to line that up really well, otherwise you will end up with some gaps. You can see I have a little one right there that I have to fill in beforehand. And again, these ones are also, they'll be a bit easier to magnetize. These ones I didn't. I'll probably go back and try to fix that. With the frigates though, those are going to take a bit of extra work. Because as you can see here, the actual weapon is just a ball that sits on the top there. So that will take a bit of extra work to figure out exactly how to magnetize. I was initially in a rush, so like I said, I built them out as the Marion class. Once I can find a way to easily magnetize them in the future, I will do so. For now though, this will work. And speaking of magnetizing, I've gotten some progress done here. See, I used some 3mm magnets, and they work out very, very well. Unfortunately, it does take a while to just drill everything out by hand, like I've been doing here. So if you're gonna go this route, I recommend it. Just be ready for lots and lots of tedious work, because that's what this is. Once I get the rest of the turrets magnetized, the last thing I'm going to do before I actually get these primed up is add some magnets to the bottom here to help out with transporting. I'm not gonna rely on foam for these ones, because I can see they're going to have lots of delicate bits. So I'm thinking they're probably easier to just build out a magnetic carry case for these, especially with that little guy right there. That seems like the very first thing that's going to snap off from there. So I want to make sure the little cyber shamu there is safe. All right, there we go. That is what comes in the Hunt for the Prometheus starter set. As of recording, we still have a couple more days before the unit cards for Dystopian Wars launch. so we won't be able to get into a lot of additional mechanics. But once those do hit, we'll be making another video covering all of those. So until then, take care, guys. Now if I can get it out of the box. Hurry for editing.